Take a wolf fits. Feeling the hunger.
All right, have a seat. Do you understand you're not under arrest?
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be a little bit shocked if I were under arrest, to tell you the truth.
So would I, but
And I'm here to cooperate.
we were talking about what type of person would do that. Just cold, greedy, heartless.
Someone just with no love for life. No love for things that grow.
Can you think of any good reason for something like this to happen?
Any good reason for something like this to happen? No. I cannot think of any good reason something like that could happen.
The idea that he would shake his head yes when he's saying no is another tell.
No.
A lot of times during interrogations, people's body language runs contrary to what they're actually saying.
Let's talk about how you met Jeff.
He came over to Baba Joyce. They introduced me. They said, "Oh yeah, this is Thayne."
And you guys hit it off? I hit it off?
Yeah, we get along.
Uh-huh.
I asked him if he could find me any work, and I went back up to check and see if he had any work, if he
That
heard
day.
anything.
What it was.
He didn't know of anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's mowing the lawn. He stopped mowing the lawn, talked to me, invited me in,
Mm-hmm.
said, "Have a beer." I come in and I have a beer with him, and he shows me around the house. And that's the only visit, though, that I've made to Jeff.
You said you went there after that very first time you met him.
Really, that was the week later, just to be simple.
Why would you do that? Why would you confuse me like that? I confuse easily.
Because it's irrelevant. Because it's...
Well, it's not really irrelevant because we got 3 people dead. So that's why it makes it very relevant.
I understand.
Especially when people are not telling the truth.
I understand, but, I mean, I had nothing to do with it.
So this event here where you were inside was about a week before this murder happened.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2 weeks. Never met Jason.
Never met Jason.
Well, now we have a problem.
Why?
All right. Inside that trailer, there's a bottle sitting there, 3 bottles. And in that trailer also, we have your DNA and fingerprints on one of the bottles. See this picture?
Yes, sir.
3 bottles, right? This one's yours. One of these is Jason, and one of these is Jeff. But you see my problem. This bottle here belongs to Jason, who you never met.
Whom I've never met.
No way in hell that bottle sat there for 2 weeks. If anything, it sat there for a couple hours. So we have a problem with that. I need you to explain to me why it is that beer bottle's there at the time of the murder.
I think psychopaths tend to be good liars. They certainly don't feel a sense of guilt. And depending on how bright they are, you know, that's when they can mess up.
This is the first time I've cried.
Yeah. Let it out. It's a lot to absorb, buddy. It's a lot to process.
I am struck by what appears to be shallow affect, and that's one of the traits of psychopathy. And that's sort of, oh, I know something bad's happening or sad, so I should cry, so I'm gonna cry.
Well, obviously I wasn't planning on getting caught.
Walk me through it.
I'm already guilty, I might as well.
Right.
I think we should start with why.
Okay.
Because of the things he's done to other people.
Uh-huh.
Because of what he is. Was.
So you hated Jeff because he was a drug dealer?
Yeah, I smoke weed, but I don't believe in drugs like that.
Right.
My plan was to kill Jeff Ryan and leave no witnesses and evidence. They were bad people and they hurt people. And I thought it was some means of justification. I thought something could grow from taking away them.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Jason was there.
Fortunately, Jason and Jesse were there.
I didn't kill any. I know I'm the lead suspect, and I understand why. I just felt like my hands were tied. You know, Annie had a heart and helped me anytime that I needed help, and I'm sorry.
I do believe it's a performance, and I think it's a rather good performance. Melissa Miller's articulate, she's charming, she's sophisticated. It's very rare to see psychopathy in women. Roughly, we estimate about 1 in 100 men are psychopaths or show high psychopathic traits. It is so low in women, we can't even give an estimate. It's harder to detect, not because we're not looking for it, but women are less likely to use overt violence.
What's your natural hair color?
This is it.
This is it?
Yeah.
So it's not colored? Let's go back to February. President's Day till the 27th. You're using your credit card a lot.
Yes.
There were a lot of $500 withdrawals. Did she know about those?
Yes.
And how did she know about those?
I talked to her, I communicated.
Melissa Miller's had a very parasitic lifestyle. She appears to not contribute to the relationship. She doesn't contribute financially. She doesn't appear to contribute emotionally. She leeches off the women she lives with, if you will. She's a grifter.
Okay. And I know where Annie's been because I know where Annie's phone's been. Okay? 2 phones were together, and you're doing all the phone calls from her phone. You're sending text messages on it. What you're telling me doesn't match up. That's the bottom line, okay? And we have forensic evidence, and I gotta tell you, did you wonder why I asked what color your hair was? There is hair on the remains, and it's the color of your hair.
I'm not sure what to do.
I don't know. That's up to you.
Well, I would like to see my family and then come back and meet with you tomorrow and
just start at the beginning.
Okay, I'll take a couple of breaths here.
Sure.
I used to tell my niece and my nephews when they were growing up that to always be careful. There'll be 10 seconds of your life you'll wish you had back one day. We were fighting. It was kind of festering. There was a service road, and so I think we turned off there. So we were just kind of walking, and she poked at me, and I just turned with the walking stick as my action and hit her. I turned around and swung and hit her. And it was them.
Where'd you hit her?
In the head. She fell. So I was looking to see where else she was bleeding, and she was bleeding in the head. And I left. And I came back and I couldn't find her. I didn't know where we were.
Did you call for help?
Okay.
I do not find her story credible. The blow, it would have had to been really intentional and forceful to kill someone. It has a premeditated feel to me.
And it was like my life was over, and they didn't know what I did.
This just feels like a lament of self-pity. She's impulsive, she has poor planning, and she's short-sighted. All these things taken together suggest someone who has a lot of psychopathic traits.
I didn't do anything.
Well, that's not entirely true.
That is entirely true.
No.
I didn't do anything.
No, you can try and cement yourself into that, okay? But at the same time, you're not doing yourself any good by not being truthful here, okay? And there's no surprises left anymore, okay? It's not even a surprise, it's why this happened.
I'm also not the only innocent person who's ever been arrested and charged.
I'm not sure what to make of his distress, because at times it sounds like he's trying to sound emotionally distressed. It's a weird modulation of his voice.
Your vehicle's seen on the video, okay? The girl who's on the video who walks away with Tori has been identified, and she's been identified as her and Tori being in your car. And you can't mask that. You can't change it, okay?
No.
He is thwarting every approach they try and use to get him to own even a little bit of something that happened.
You made a mistake, right? You'd take this back if you could. This is a mistake, Mike. You need to deal with this.
There's discussion, like, previous to the day of the event, with Mike saying, "Oh, would you ever kidnap somebody?" We went through a whole thing where, "Oh, you're just talk. You never do it. You're just talk. You're gonna do that today. You're gonna do that today." He had made the comments about young female, so it'd be easy to manipulate.
So she's trying to portray herself as someone essentially carrying out an act really under the control, perhaps, of Mr. Rafferty.
Victoria was pretty much the first younger female that came out. like I was holding her hand. She was with me. She was, you know, she was good. Like, she was great. Like, she wasn't scared of me.
She has a history where she was raised in a highly physically and sexually abusive environment for a very long time. And the consequences of that is very often people then crave other kinds of abusive relationships. She was recruited by him.
So tell me what happened.
I seen Tori on the ground. I turned my head away again. I could hear her, like, the sound of her voice, like, just grow fainter. I could hear, like, moaning, like. I remember hearing the rustle of garbage bags, like, just the hammer. I see the garbage bag over, so there wasn't, afterwards, like, there was no, like, blood splatter, like he knew what he was doing, like.
I didn't help kill anybody.
You were there. You've heard from Terry. Okay.
Terry's saying my car is there. Terry, the drug addict who stabs people, is there, saying that I was there. That you're going based on what some girl has told you.
What's your biggest fear or your biggest concern now that you've been charged with this?
Losing my life. It's not being able to have a life anymore.
There's no sympathy. It's really all self-focused. His life's over. He's going to jail, but there's no real expression of the damage that he's done to all these other lives at all.
This is your opportunity, Terry Lynn's sitting right here. Tell her she's a liar. You've got no problem at saying without her in the room.
Terry's a liar.
That's what you're hoping.
I'm not even looking at her.
I don't need to look at her.
He doesn't even look at her. She is not a person to him.
First name is Daniel. How about your date of birth?
I'm 16.
What grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
And whose house were you headed over to when you guys stopped?
I called my friend Steve and told him what happened.
What did you tell Steve happened?
That my dad had shot my mom and then shot himself. And he thought I was joking at first, just kind of laughed about it, but then I told him I was serious and it wasn't a joke. And he told me he'd meet up with me.
Anybody touch the gun?
I picked up the gun.
You picked up the gun?
And set it over on the other chair. And I realized that he wasn't dead and he might try and do something to himself again. So I moved it.
What he's doing here is very calculated. He is providing a reason that might explain why his fingerprints will be found on the gun. And he makes it even sound like it was a gesture of kindness. But no, he's plotting an alibi.
You said you had been grounded. How long have you been grounded for?
A month.
That's good. You snuck out of the house. Where'd you guys go?
We went up to the mall. There was a new game coming out.
Is that your Halo game in the van?
It's like an alien invasion game. It was being released at midnight, and we were being there to get the game at midnight.
When did your parents find out that you had snuck out to go to this game?
I came back in the house and I was playing in the basement, and my mom woke up and came down there. Yeah, it was probably 1:30 in the morning. She knew it was coming out at midnight. She woke my dad up and they just said I was grounded and that I was just gonna be grounded for a while until they said I was ungrounded. My parents just said they were disappointed in me that I would do something like that.
The video game is definitely a fantasy world. This is absorbing to him. This is his world. Invasion narratives are about the other that's coming in either to threaten or take over something, and you get to fight back and ward them off and overcome and win. So this is about power.
Is there anything you want to tell me? I mean, we all know what happened, okay? The scene talks for itself, okay? So we know what happened. I don't know why it happened.
No, I don't feel like talking. I just need to gather my thoughts for a second. Well, do you know, like, basically, like what kind of sentencing has been dealt out?
Well,
like what I'm looking at?
Yes. What do you think should be a suitable punishment?
I don't know. Will I be charged as an adult?
I can't say, because that's not up to me right now, all right?
Because I am sure.
His change in body language is very interesting. He has his left hand toward his brow to indicate that he's crying, looking with his left eye to see what the detective is doing.
It looks like he is angling and conniving and planning and checking out what he needs to say and what he won't say so he can figure out what will be best for him.
I just don't feel like talking.
Do you know who got shot first?
It's almost kind of like I blacked out for a minute.
Do you remember where your dad was at when you shot the gun?
Honestly, not really. I don't remember much.
When you say not really, what do you remember of that?
Just that I got real angry. And it's kind of just, I don't really know.
Okay.
It wasn't something I really thought about.
Mr. Petric, you shoot your wife. No. Mr. Petric, you dare no shooting.
Well, at this point right now, it's going to be murder. Okay?
So why don't you go ahead and tell me now? What happened? Let's just be done with this. Get it out. Let me tell your side of it.
My parents were arguing, and eventually it came down to, they said they were gonna get a divorce. And I just kind of snapped.
He's trying to think of reasons. I've spun the religious reason. I've spun the I don't know what happened reason. I've spun my father did this reason. I think we're on the 6th different narrative at this point. But he did not snap.
He said, would you guys close your eyes? I have a surprise for you.